So the Nothing Phone company just released a new sub-brand called CMF, and they've released the phone under CMF called the CMF Phone 1, which is pretty genius than you can think it is. This phone just costs $250, and it has passed what we are expecting from it. Like, its phone is giving us features of phones that are over $1,000. And there are a lot of things this phone comes with. If you look at the case, this phone comes with three different cases: Buds Pro 2 and Watch Pro 2, which is a kind of a lot. Though everything in the box feels a little bit plasticky and kind of cheap, but when you look at it very well, you find that these things are actually there intentionally, and they are thoughtful, and they have purpose for why they are there. Then, if you should look at it, starting from the original beginning of everything, we'll start with the design of the smartphone. If you look at this smartphone, the design, let me start with the case. The case of the phone is not actually a case, or let's say a back cover. The cases we saw in the box were not actually cases, they were actually back plates. So that means that you can just take off your back plate of your phone and then remove it anytime you like and replace it with another one. And there are three advantages to this. First of all, repairing your phone will be actually much more easier. And second, you can take your phone anywhere, naked as it is, without feeling guilty of anything. And if you feel like it's getting scratched, you can actually replace it with three more plates that you have. And it also means that you can make matches yourself, because this has like green, black, orange. So you can make matches to your own self based on what you feel like should be right for you. And this actually has a lot of values on it. First of all, if you look at the phone stand is something that you can actually screw to the back, which is more like really thoughtful of those who designed it. And you can also still attach a wallet to the back, which can hold up to 3 cards in it, your ATM and maybe a few other cards. And for a phone like this, you are not expecting it to have a little bit or too much high rating. That's just a IPXL rating, which is not without a dust resistance, which is not so much of a water resistant smartphone. And even if you are looking at the name of the smartphone, with all the good design features, the name of the smartphone means colors, materials, and finish. So you are expecting a good design like this at this out of it. Then, for a phone this price, you'll be expecting the screen to be a bit of compromise. Well, actually, the screen was actually even more better than most of us thought. It has a 120Hz adaptive AMOLED HD display and a pre-installed screen protector, which is something I actually really like, because screen protectors are actually really expensive. It has up to 2000 peak brightness, which is something that may not be actually true. It may be like around 1800 or 1700 nits, but it's actually still something that they can actually still attempt to. And the only thing I'll say there's a compromise on the screen is when it comes to the bezels. You see, the bottom bezels are much more thicker than the upper bezels, which is something that we can understand, but even the engineering of such a thing will be expensive. And also, considering the price of this phone, is something that you won't expect anything less for. The design is good, the screen is good. You'll be expecting that the battery also should be a bit of compromise. Well, the battery is not also a compromise. This phone has a 5000 mAh battery, and it has a 4 nanometer process and a light software skin. And also, it comes with dark mode by default. So your phone is always in dark mode or monochrome mode, which is you won't even be able to spend too much time on your phone, and also you do less on the phone than even like normal thing. The only thing I would say that was also a compromise also in fact that they give you the ability to screw out the back plate, but you can't actually swap your old battery for a new battery, especially if your phone is actually getting the battery of the current one you are using is actually getting old. You can't swap it for another one at all. Yeah. Battery check, screen check, design check. What about the software? Actually, the CMS Phone 1 actually runs on a Nothing OS 2.6 based on Android 14, which is light and does a lot of thoughtful things. This thing has 2 years major software update and 3 years security update, which is pretty standard and also something to save on cost, especially when you think about the price of the phone itself. Performance of the phone also is not a compromise. This phone is giving us performance, I would say, better than most flagship phones that we have ever seen. This phone has a 6 gig of RAM and a 128 gig of storage, which is also still expandable and can also permit a 2 terabyte SD card, which is also amazing as it is. And it also has a Dimensity 7300 MediaTek chipset, which is also super powerful. I wasn't expecting it to be on something like this. I was expecting something like maybe, I don't know, a last year chipset or maybe a 2 years ago chipset, but this is actually much more better than I actually thought. But the problem with just this chipset is that when it comes to gaming, you might experience a bit of lag when you are gaming, and also not just when you are gaming. Sometimes when you click on things on the phone, there's a bit of split seconds between when you click on it and before it opens. Though not often, for not like a long wait period, but just a bit of split seconds in between, a few nanoseconds in between your tapping and then you're receiving the image. So everything on this phone is check, but you were expecting a phone of this price to be like, yes, the major place this phone be a default or have a defect will be when it comes to the camera, right? Well, we were all surprised as well. This phone has two cameras and it can take very detailed pictures, and you can also still zoom further and still get clear and good shots. But though it still misses on some small things, especially when it comes to you like taking pictures of light, it might go off at that moment, but still it still gets the job done. This phone shoots videos at 4K videos at 30 frames per second, and it's also very good at shooting videos that are very stabilized, considering the fact that it does not have a single optic electronic stabilization in it. It is still very good in taking stabilized videos. So to summarize it up, the CMF Phone 1 is actually one of the best phones I would recommend for you right now. Though maybe not the high-end top flagship phone like the S24 Ultra, the OnePlus 12, but still this phone is up to the standard. And considering the price of it now, at this time of 2024, it's going to be a very good choice for you to make. Subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.